Good day. Let's talk about atomism and the philosophers that developed to trace the evolution of the atomic theory and their idea to enhance the evolution of the theory. So, what is atomism and who is John Dalton that his assumptions were dormant for more than 2 millennia? And for chemistry's solution and idea, atomism is a natural philosophy that developed in several ancient traditions, and its history of the evolution of the atomic theory was started in 400 years BC and because of the two Greek philosophers, Democritus and Leucippus. And atomism is also the idea that everything is composed entirely of variables, imperishable, indivisible called atoms. And the philosopher John Dalton is the one suggested the first detailed atomic theory, and his assumptions were laid dormant for centuries and only revived by John Dalton in 1804.
John Dalton. John Dalton is an English chemist. He is best known for his atomic theory to explain the structure of matter. He first calculated the weights of atoms. Even John Dalton is a chemist, he is not a good experimenter. He is also the founder of the modern atomic theory. He derived this idea from the Leucippus idea of atomism.
Hey there, I'm here to explain the Dalton's atomic theory. Assumption 1. If atoms of an element is indestructible, then some atoms must be present after a chemical reaction as before. It is rejected because of the discovery of quarks and subatomic particles. Assumption 2. If all atoms of all atoms are alike in mass, and if atoms unite in fixed numerical ratios, it is rejected because of the discovery of isotopes. Assumption 3. The percent composition of a compound and must have unique value, regardless of the origin. The quark theory was proposed on 1964.
Democritus. Democritus is a Greek philosopher around 495 BC that wondered if substances could be divided into smaller parts indefinitely, and thought that particles would reach a point where they could no longer be divided, and he called his smallest particle as atom, from the Greek word atoms, which means cannot be divided or not divided.
Leucippus is the teacher of Democritus. He developed the theory of atomism that everything is composed entirely of various imperishable, invisible called atoms, which was elaborated in greater by his pupil and successor Democritus.
Here are trivias about John Dalton.
English chemist John Dalton proposed an atomic theory of matter that became one of the bases of modern chemistry. He showed the atomic composition of molecules and made the first table of atomic weights.
Dalton's atomic theory remained controversial throughout the 19th century. Whilst the law of definite proportion were accepted, the hypothesis that this was due to atoms was not so widely accepted.
John Dalton started his teaching career at the age of 12 when he joined his 15-year-old brother in running the Eaglesfield Quaker Grammar School. He taught there for 15 years until he moved to Manchester. At the age of 17, he taught mathematics and natural philosophy at the New College, an academy that dissented from the norm of only being open at Anglican.
John Dalton was an accomplished meteorologist. He began making meteorological observation in 1787 and continued for 57 years, making the last written observation on the day before he died of a stroke in July 1844. He recorded more than 200,000 observations and became known as the father of meteorology. In 1783, together with two friends, he published meteorological observations and essays, which altered the whole course of thinking about meteorology.